Hey, thank you for being here, Mike. Appreciate you having you here for this testimony and a little bit of a podcast, whatever it turns into. But appreciate you having you here.
No problem.
Anyways, thank you for being here, and let's just get all this started. So I know you've got your journey here and how we've helped you with your health and fitness, but just from talking to you, I know it expands a little bit more than what we've helped you. So go ahead and start telling us about your journey, wherever you feel is the best way to start, and we'll just go from there.
Well, the best way I can do it is starting out last spring. I had been bitten by a tick and ended up with Lyme disease, sore muscles, sore joints. I was overweight, 278 pounds actually. started a new voyage with a new doctor. I ended up getting off of all my chemical medications I was on, and he told me I needed to start working out, doing more activities to stretch out, to work my muscles, my joints. Back last April, I decided to get me a membership at the YMCA and started there. I actually ran into Nick at the Y and in the store and a couple other places. Boom, 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 and it just kind of a insight to me that when I had the opportunity to start working with Nick, that it was I had the clarification from God that that's where I needed to go. So I got me a membership. I started working out with you guys in July, I think.
I think it was about July or so.
July, yeah. I started working out with you guys, and man, I'm telling you, just I went down to 203 pounds, and now December I'm back up to 230 pounds muscle.
Yeah.
Instead of, but my body's changed, and it's just that dedication, the dedication to get up and go work out, to not seeing results and not seeing results and not seeing results until all of a sudden everything I'd been putting into it started to come to life, and I started to see the results. And the workouts that you guys would give me and send me were just pushing me further and further. And I'm not a very techie guy, so I don't I may not have documented everything the way I should have, but I did my stuff, I did it faithfully, and I have the results to show it.
Absolutely.
My health's getting back on track now. I'm starting to get some feeling back in my legs from the neuropathy. My joints, my muscles are not sore like they were every single day because of the tick bite.
Yeah.
And just watching everybody else and being held accountable. I mean, you guys held me accountable. The family I have at the YMCA itself, just being in that gym, that's where I go. The family holding me accountable has really done something for me too. Some people don't like the crowd. Some people don't want them to know that they have a personal trainer, and and I see it all different ways, and that's where you guys, I think, would be a benefit to some. If they don't like it, if they don't have the time, if their work schedule isn't going to revolve around being able to be at the gym the same time as their personal trainer and be able to do it on their own and report the stuff, I think it's a wonderful new program, and that's the way everything's going to. So, but the way I feel now because of you guys is has been life changing. It really has. I know it's the Lord doing it, but it's you guys as well.
We're just grateful to be vessels.
Yes.
I can say that. Man, Mike, thank you for sharing all that. Appreciate you. So much to talk about and to unpack there, but I think the main thing is, like you said, having that family at the Y. It's good to try to have that good support system, good to have this good support system, as well as you may have to go out and kind of find your people and create that.
Right.
That's a lesson I've learned. I probably learned it was back in college 7, 8, 9 years ago of, hey, you are the people that you hang out with. You become who you spend your time around.
Exactly.
So like you said, making sure you're being held accountable, you want to surround yourself with people who are on the same page as you, that want you to succeed. Not everybody wants you to succeed, unfortunately. So you want to be around people and surrounded by friends and family who want you to succeed, who want to support you, who want to keep you accountable, and to help you push forward. And then, like you said, and like I got to see you do today, working out the Y with you, is you get to help push everybody else around you forward too. You get to help progress them along. The joke I've used on occasion is, by God, I'm gonna make it to the winner's circle, and I'm gonna cross the finish line, and I'm dragging you all with me.
There you go. There you go.
Yeah, so it's definitely, I think that's amazing, and yeah, like we said, having a good support system and keeping yourself accountable. So, how is that to you personally, Mike? How did that benefit, and how did that help you overcome certain obstacles to get you where you are now? Because like you said, you were 270, 280 some pounds, got all the way down to 203. Now you're back up to 230. So you've been on quite the transformation. How is the support system? You know, I guess it's a loaded question here, but you know, how did it start? How has it changed? How has it affected you along the way?
It started out very intimidating. Walking into the gym, not knowing anything. I'm 50. Well, I was 55 when I started. I'm 56 now. I turned 56 in July, and it's very intimidating walking into a gym and never working out before in my life.
Yeah.
And you don't know the equipment, you don't know anything, and you know, that's where you have to be able to not be that way. It's hard. It's hard to get by that. And then once I got by it, I'd start watching people. I would ask questions, and now, you know, in 6 months' time, I'm the one being asked.
Yeah.
You know, I've got people saying, "Man, you've been doing this for a long time, I can tell." And it's like, yeah, since April, you know, and it's just that dedication. Of course, as you know, the YMCA has offered me a job as an instructor now, just because of the dedication I have from my workouts. The life changes, that the things that we never expect in life, there's a plan. There's a plan there somewhere, and we have to be able to see that plan and take the time to see it. And the transformation, going from being so intimidating to walk into the gym, just to even walk in and see other people working out. And then when you start seeing 80-year-old guys working out,
yes,
that are so dedicated that they're there every morning. They're riding their bicycles from St. Louis, Missouri to Kansas City, Missouri.
Amen.
They're doing amazing things. And I thought, that's me. That's where I want to be. That's the kind of stuff I want to do. And you look at yourself in the mirror, you think, there's no way I could do that. These guys have been doing it forever. But here I am, one of the guys that everybody's thinking, I've been doing it forever and I haven't. These guys, I get to talking to them, and they haven't been doing it forever either.
No.
So it's great. It's you know, and just to be able to see us transform in front of one of another has even made it even
absolutely
greater.
Yeah. There's a lot I want to touch on that too. The first thing I want to touch on though is like the concept of progress. How it's kind of throws you off a little bit, because it does take time, but it can come faster than you think as well. Because I think, and I agree with you, I think that is a big adversity, big obstacle for a lot of people, is thinking it's going to take forever, thinking, oh, I've got to put all this time in, when it's like, yes, you do have to put time in. I think the concept that's really opened my eyes at doing the online coaching is realizing that, yeah, you have to do just a few things different and a few things extra week by week. You just have to be able to do it week by week, over and over again, month by month, possibly year by year. Because a good saying I've heard is, you know, you can go in, work out 3 days a week, but if you do that every day for a year, you eat right, you get your, you know, prioritize your sleep, eat right, try to stay hydrated, you do a few small things, that'll change your life in a year. And I'm talking full body transformation, like something you've done it in months, but which is faster because you had, you know, probably a little bit more often working out. I know we had you working out a lot more often than just 3 days a week. We also had you drinking much more water and doing stuff there. But what I'm talking about with the changing your life in just a year with that is, that's kind of the bare minimum. You know, that's kind of just, hey, show up 3 days a week, right? Try to drink half a gallon or a little bit more water. Try to get your body weight in grams of protein each day. Go for a couple walks. Try to sleep 8 hours a night, and that'll change things up. You just got to be consistent with it, have that dedication. Something else I wanted to say too that really clicked as you were saying all this, and I didn't realize this until you'd said it. Honestly, that's kind of how I started at the Y. I was just there all the time. I was working out. I just graduated. I had done some job shadowing with the trainer there beforehand, a year prior, so they knew what I was going after. but I didn't know any. I didn't have a like crystal clear plan, step by step. Knew exactly what I needed to do in order to get where I wanted to be. They just showed up one day and offered me the job.
It's crazy.
It is
It's
crazy because you never expect it, do you?
But it's that dedication.
Yeah, and they recognize it. Real recognizes
Yes.
real.
Yeah, it's just like I mentioned to you earlier. It's like living for the Lord too. You've got to be able to put that into your system, and if you don't,
Yes.
if you don't live that life, if all you take in is nasty music, and if you do drugs, or if you do anything else, and you're feeding yourself that, and you're that's what you're living. You can't live a
Yeah.
good Christian life.
Yeah.
It's the same way with working out. If you feed yourself McDonald's, and you feed yourself candy, and you feed yourself that extra bread and those potatoes and all that stuff, you can't go out and live a good healthy lifestyle neither working out, because
Yeah.
you're not going to see the transformation.
Yeah.
You get rid of the stuff you don't need, the stuff that's not supposed to be there, either way in your Christian walk or your physical walk.
Yeah.
You get rid of that stuff that you don't need, your life's going to change
Exactly.
every which way.
Oh yeah, and I appreciate you saying it that way, because I feel like that's personal confirmation for me, because that's what I've heard a lot with business advice too. So we could even say business advice, spiritual advice, and then physical advice. You just got to start cutting some of those things out that don't serve you. You got to
Right.
start, cutting out the bad, adding in a little bit of good, and like we said with you, add a little bit of workout in, make sure you're eating the right foods. That's another thing I really like to try to impress upon people with how we train them is we are using every piece of the puzzle. We're going to work on your nutrition a little bit. We're going to work on your mindset and lifestyle. Make sure you got the right habits, creating it in a successful environment. But we also work on your spirituality as well, because absolutely, like we said, walking with the Lord, and this will help us strengthen our faith. It's because there's just more to it than eating food and working out. You gotta have that spiritual side too. You've got to look deeper within yourself than just what you're doing each day, and understand that everything you're doing has a deeper purpose. And I think
Exactly.
I think that's a big thing too, is once you realize, like, hey, there's more to this than just this, and it's not, oh, I got to do this every day for the rest of my life or every week. It's like, hey, this is an opportunity to get to do this, and this is how I get to make the changes, and then I get to see the changes and enjoy the fruits of my labor.
It's not a have to, it's I get to.
Yeah, it's not a have to, and I get to. Absolutely. And like you said too, you just got to get your foot in the door. The hardest step you're going to take is the first one, but you're hearing it right here listening to this. Mike, in 4 months time, you went from being terrified even stepping in there, now you're a personal trainer.
Yeah, now I'm becoming a personal trainer.
You just gotta jump.
You just gotta jump in. You gotta have that faith.
Have faith, jump in with both feet. That's
right.
what you got to do.
That's right. And I'm scared to death doing this. I held my first class last Monday, and this past Monday, and I've got my second will be tomorrow. And it's so gratifying though. There's so many people that think they have something wrong with their arm. They can't extend their arm all the way out. Their left hip is bad. They've got an artificial right knee. They can't do these exercises. Well, I'm here to tell them they're wrong.
Yeah.
They can do those. They can do some exercises, and they can work different exercises in to incorporate those in their workout to work something that they think they can't do.
Absolutely.
There's so much out there. There are so many avenues to train things that people are afraid to train, because they've been using that as a crutch for too long.
Yes, absolutely.
They've been using that as a crutch for too long.
Oh yeah, and I mean we still see it up at the gym we're at now. We see people that doctor may have said this, or they heard the wrong information, or they're not applying it to the right context. But once we're able to show them and give that crystal clarity, we're able to help out a lot of people. Like just to give you a crazy example, it's off the wall. Brain don't remember who we're talking about here, but we'd worked with somebody. We'd worked with two people actually. That one was dealing with an active eating disorder, and the other one was a little bit eating disorder, but a little bit of alcoholism as well. And just from having a better understanding of what you could and couldn't eat and how to approach things. So like, for example, with the one with the active eating disorder, she had been told she'd struggled with her relationship with food all of her life, and a lot of it was because she's hearing different contexts and different things from all over the place, like this is bad, this is bad, this is bad, this is bad. Like, I'm pretty sure if you look on the internet long enough, somebody's going to tell you that water's unhealthy for you.
Yes.
even though it's like, no, that's like the most important thing. So we sat her down and we just gave her the information straight, and we told her like, hey, let's try to do some proteins with like steak and eggs. And then I'll never forget, she's like, are you telling me I can have steak and eggs? And I'm like, if you want to have steak and eggs every morning for breakfast, do it. And she was like, you're giving, and you know, it took a good week or so to click, but she told us that she went to her therapist later and, okay, what eating disorder, you know?
Yeah.
Just because we gave her a little bit of clarity and understanding. Same with the other one that was kind of along the same lines, but more struggling with the alcohol as well. One big thing that helped this particular individual was just pacing themselves with water and hydration while they drink. Like, hey, if you're gonna have a couple beers or you're gonna go, you know, get a mixed drink or something, chase it with water. You know, make sure you have as much water as you're having alcohol.
Right.
Because a lot of your hangovers, a lot of your sickness from alcohol just comes from dehydration. So making sure they stayed hydrated throughout all this, it also helped them mitigate their alcoholic intake as well. That's also how we've gotten people off of soda pops, off of energy drinks, coffee, different things like that. We make sure to get the water in, and then we have them follow just a few simple rules consistently each and every day, and it helps work their mindset around. It helps make those changes. You just got to take the time to make the change.
So back to the water. I never drank water. I thought I was allergic to water.
There you go.
I would drink 24 cans of Mountain Dew a day.
Wow.
I was just very big in that. And now all I drink is water. I'll drink up to 2 gallons a day.
Yeah.
Usually around 1.5 gallons, sometimes 2 gallons a day. That has changed my life a lot. I mean, drinking water. It's for everything from the way my body utilizes my food. I mean, everything. That water has changed it. You know, I mean.
Yeah.
I can tell when things are wrong. I was a big coffee drinker. I would drink that coffee in the morning. I drink coffee in the morning now. I drink the nasty stuff. I drink decaf. I mean, my body has changed so much, and I can feel. Since I was a kid, I never paid attention. I'd eat sugar, I'd eat whatever. And now, if I have the caffeine, if I have the sugar, if I have potatoes that have sugar in them, if I have corn that has sugar, my body feels that, and it's not right. And
yeah, you're just like, oh,
so
no.
yeah, it's like, no. I ate 2 black jelly beans the other day, and most people, black jelly beans, but I ate 2 jelly beans. I was spent. I mean, that was the nastiest, dizziest feeling. I don't drink, but I did not like that feeling, and I will not eat any more jelly beans.
No,
and that's just from 2 jelly beans. So when you're eating a whole half a bag of them or something else,
absolutely.
I mean, what are you doing to yourself?
Well, and that's the thing people got to understand too, Mike, is when you gotta be consistent. You gotta have the dedication to it, but your body will start making those changes where it won't want to have the same stuff. I am the same way, you know, especially since all the digestive issues I've had over the years. Something I used to eat all the time was those sour gummy worms.
Oh yeah.
Oh my gosh, I could have owned stock in them. I'd buy them by the pound. They'd sell them in pound bags, and I'd buy them by the pound. Another thing I used to eat was Reese's peanut butter cups. I used to buy those by the pound.
But they're good for you. They got peanut butter.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying.
That's the kind of mindset we set.
Yeah, and
they don't have 6 cups of sugar in each one either. But.
Yeah. No, you're absolutely right. That's another mindset to get away from. But like we're talking about, you know, I used to be able to eat those. If I tried to eat them now, it might kill me.
Yeah.
And if it doesn't, like, I'm not gonna be like feeling pretty like at all. I'm gonna be feeling good about it. So. And the same with soda. I'm very limited on my soda intake nowadays because, like, I just don't always feel the best from it, you know. Whereas there was a time I could drink a 24 pack, maybe not in a day, but I would buy it by the 24 pack and then, you know, have to either, you know, I can remember, especially when I did my dirty bulk and was, you know, kind of did the unhealthy stuff there. I remember I'd buy, you know, 2 or 3 of those 24 packs, so it'd last me the week or so. Right. So I get it. I've been there before, but it is amazing how the body, once you dedicate some time and effort and energy into it going the other way, you can build that momentum going the other way to the point where, oh, hey, that sweet I couldn't live without, that candy, that coffee, that soda I couldn't live without. I don't even think about it anymore.
Exactly.
You know?
And when you go to order anything at the restaurant or anywhere else, it just, what do you want to drink? Water. I mean, that's just a thing now.
Yep. There we go. Yeah, exactly. So going back to some of your changes, and you know, we talked about, you know, drinking all the soda and drinking, you know, going from drinking water. What were some of the things and struggles you went through making those changes, and what really helped you get through those changes? Because I mean, let's be honest, drinking a 24 pack of Mountain Dew to drinking 2 gallons of water a day, that's a journey, that's a process, that's a transformation.
It has been, and I would get mad, and I would put that energy into my workouts.
Okay.
So I kind of learned to channel that. It's not something that was easy.
Yeah.
It's just trying to slowly. I slowly went from one to the other.
Yeah.
And when I started just doing the water, I'm telling you, you just, when you start doing something different after you've been changed, you know, it's just like you're doing the water after Mountain Dew. It's a change, and you don't like it, and it's something you didn't want to change.
Yeah.
But you had to have the mindset to do it.
Absolutely.
Well, then after you change, then it's like you have one or the other, and it's like, wow, why did I even do that? You know, I think the same thing. Wait, with smoking. So if anybody's listening, they had a smoking thing, and you have that smoke, and you can't get rid of it, and you just, you know, you finally quit smoking. Well, then you can smell it on everybody, and you can just see the change in everybody. You can tell somebody by their skin, because, you know, they're not taking care of their body, and you know, just so many different things there that I see that once you change them, you don't want to go back.
Yeah.
We changed over to soda pop at one point in our life.
Yeah.
From the good stuff, because we know mom and dad let us have, you know, milk, and, you know, and made us drink water and different things, and we switched over to the bad stuff, just like back to the Christian stuff. I run parables here. We start off innocent. We start off, I mean, just as pure as we could be.
Yeah.
And we make those changes to change ourselves in the wrong direction.
Absolutely.
Or the right direction.
Absolutely.
And I this physical journey is the same way. You have to take that, and we've been given a healthy body. I mean, some people may have an issue, but we've pretty much been given a body to work with, and we have to work with our bodies the way that we know how.
Absolutely.
In the right direction, not the wrong direction.
Yeah, and I want to throw this out here, and it's just based off of something I heard you say right before we started this, and I'm not getting onto you because I think it was pure gold, but, like, you know, a lot of people probably think, like, well, I don't have a very good body.
Right.
Well, it's not the best. Right before we started, I remember you saying, you know, growing up, I'd always wished I was built like this. And then it turns out I am.
Yes, exactly. Oh, you want rounder shoulders? We work on that. We put them there. You want bigger arms? We work on it. You want bigger muscles in your legs? We work on it.
Exactly.
You know, it's, oh, well, I don't have calves. I don't have this. Well, work on them.
Exactly.
You know, you work on them, they get better.
Exactly.
If you got long, nasty, stringy hair sticking up all over, and you want nice hair, work on it. Cut it. You know, do something with it.
Oh yeah, it reminds me of something me and Christian always joke about, of like, since I'm more of a strength athlete, not a bodybuilder, I have a blockier waist. So to bring on that illusion of a narrower waist, we always make the joke of, we'll just build a bigger back. It's not an issue. Don't even worry about the waist.
Right.
We don't think about that,
Right.
you know? So it's kind of the idea of there is, like, if you want something, if you want to do better with something, change it, you know?
That's right.
Change it, figure out how to change it, and figure out the best avenue, whether, you know, especially, I'm just going to throw this out here, especially with it being physical stuff, hire a coach if you need to. You know, find some guidance along the way. Like, just to give you the best example I can give you, you know, Brandon's doing the strongman, so you have a strongman coach you talk to and you work with. You know, I'm healed now and going back into powerlifting, so I've spoken with a powerlifting coach, and you know, so I want to get better at my squat, my bench, and my deadlift. So I'm going to I've talked to a gentleman who has done all this. He's benched 600 pounds. He's squatted well over 7. You know, I can't remember what his exact deadlift is, but I've talked to somebody who has been in the shoes I want to be in.
Right.
You know?
Right.
And it's helped make better progress. It's helped us get on the right track, and it's just helped us get what we want to be and help us make the changes. So
the class I'm doing is a Y Fit. It's a CrossFit class for Y, and that's something I'm having to learn now, and looking at maybe trying to find somebody that is very knowledgeable in the CrossFit.
Yeah.
And learning from it. You guys have got me into the weight part, and I mean, it's something that everybody, I think, needs to do. If they're starting out, the best thing to do is to get a coach.
Yeah.
I mean, even if it's for 3 months, 4 months, 5 months, 6 months, just to get you started right, to make sure your forms are correct, to what you're working, your goals, to hold you accountable once again. And once you get that rhythm, being with the coach, you start to learn. You start to know what your capabilities are, how to push yourself.
Exactly.
And then you can work on your own until you find something else you want to do. So I've been training under you guys and learning how to lift and pushing myself and doing more and starting to get some cardio in. And now I've got another avenue that's taken me down another whole nother path that I didn't think I was going down.
Oh yeah.
To get me even in better shape, to get my cardio up, to get my I'm looking at doing a yoga class now. Whoever thought that a 56-year-old man, farm guy was going to be taking yoga classes?
And if they knew you specifically, holy.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Yes,
so yoga is, but these ladies that are coming out of there are so excited about it, and how much it stretches them, and how sore they get from it, and just the benefits they get of just the peace, of doing it.
Oh yeah, absolutely. So, and just the stress relief you get from exercise. Like I hear all the people all the time, well, I'm too stressed to work out. No, you're not, because working out relieves the stress. Like go in there and just, and I know we both, anybody that's worked out or done anything like this for a period of time will all say that, like, sometimes you go in and it's therapy. Sometimes you're going in and, just getting some anger out, getting that aggression out. I can't tell you how many times I've had clients come in, and I had a friend of mine I trained for a while that he had a rough day, and he just was like, put together the worst thing you can possibly put together for me. And I was like, all right. So, we tortured him that day. Or I've had other women come in where I just say, hey, I hear you're having a rough day. Do what you got to do. Say what you got to say. It's going to go in one ear and out the other with me. I don't care. I'm not going to judge you. We'll just get it out of your system. My main goal is to you leave here in a better mood than what you came in.
Exactly. So, exactly. That's what it's about.
Absolutely.
My wife, if I do not work out, my wife can tell now. She will be, you didn't work out today, did you?
No,
I haven't had time yet. You need to go work out, whether it be at the Y or in the shop. When you're changing enough that your wife notices that your mood is different than what it is when you work out, I mean, it's showing that there's things there that I'm getting out that I don't need to be having in my relationship. I'm taking them out at the Y, and I'm taking them out to relieve that.
There you go. And I like that you said that's another avenue of helping get rid of and alleviate some of the negative things. Yes. Sorry to cut you off there.
No, you're great. That's what it is. It's getting rid of that anxiety. You're not worried about other stuff. You're in there working out. I'm a music guy. I like loud, thumpy music, but I've got my headphones in or my earphones in and whatever, earbuds, and I listen to that. But once you start meeting all these people at wherever you're at and getting all this help, then you're constantly stopping that to visit with these people.
Oh yeah, I get you. I deal with that a lot myself.
And but it's just so wonderful to see all the different lifestyles and all the different people. And I work out in the evenings quite a bit, and I've got a couple people there. One of them, she's actually been an alcoholic, and her way out right now is working out.
There you go.
She had a couple problems, a couple issues, and got into a little trouble. And this why thing is just working out every day is keeping her focused. She gets off work every day and goes and works out. It's that her avenue out of what she was doing to what she's wanting to do.
Absolutely. I'm just glad you said that. I mean, you hear it? Working out, doing all this, keeps you out of trouble as well.
It does.
Keeps you doing good, keeps you out of trouble. I mean, what more could you ask for at this point?
Exactly. So many young kids coming in there, and it's so fun now that I do a lot of crazy stuff. I do push-ups on plates. I just some weird stuff to trick my old man muscles, the muscle memory, and throw some different confusing stuff in there. And it's so fun to watch these young kids coming in there and following me around and trying to do the same stuff I'm doing.
Oh yeah.
And they really think I'm special because they can't do those things, And if they set their mind to it, they could do them better than me.
Oh, absolutely.
But to see that and to see these young boys, and a lot of them, they don't say a word to you. They just watch you, and then you see them doing it. I run backwards on the treadmill at 7 miles an hour.
Yeah.
I've got young kids now that I'm hearing about falling off the treadmill because they're trying to run backwards on the treadmill.
Yeah.
It's great. It's great. I'm not. It's just people are seeing what I'm doing, and it's
inspiring.
It's inspiring to them to try to push theirself more. I don't know. I'm getting off on it. It's
No,
really...
and that's what's important. That's what keeps you going. Whatever gives you whatever helps you get the dopamine release or that dopamine dump, whatever helps you, keep you motivated and keep you going. If it's people being inspired what you're doing, great. If it's your own achievements, great. If it's just helping out a friend, it's all great. Yeah, I'm sure that's a crazy perspective you never thought you'd have, where people are trying to emulate you or watch you.
No, it's crazy. I remember my boys when they were kids, they tried to be the high school players that were at that time that were, and they'd be playing football at home, and they were like in the 6th grade, and they're slamming the ball down, and high school boys, they were yelling out touchdown, and yelling their name out and stuff, and I thought, you know what, I'm their dad, and they don't ever hear them try to be, well, now my own boys are wanting to start to come and work out because they're seeing what dad that used to have a keg instead of a 6-pack, and it's like, they're starting to see it. My daughter the other day, she's 16, she just turned 16, and she got a driver's license and this and that, and I said, well, good, now you can start making your own trips to the Y too.
There you go.
And she's starting to really see the benefits from it, and I'm like, I just came right out and asked her the other day. I said, which dad do you like better? The dad that's healthy, is in shape, and is hopefully be here for a long time for you.
Absolutely.
Or do you like the old dad? And she said, oh, I like the new dad.
There you go.
And that that pushed me even that much harder.
There you go. And I'm glad you brought that up, and I'm glad it does push you so much harder, because that's the awesome part is now your family is following suit.
Right.
You're leading by example. You're inspiring others, not only at the gym, but your own family. Your daughter's going to start taking trips to the Y, and I'm sure your wife's much more active now, and like you said, your boys are wanting to get back into it. So,
and to compliment, the compliments I get from people, the people at the Y, the people I know, the people I run into the store I haven't seen in 6 months, telling me how good I look and how healthy I look, and I still have a lot of issues from the Lyme disease and the neuropathy, but to get those compliments, they just really build you up. They build your self-esteem up. They build your drive for everything about you. They build you up. I mean, if you don't ever get those, you go into some dark places.
You're absolutely right.
And I'm 100% for telling everybody else, if they see one slight improvement in somebody while they're working out, if somebody else comes in behind them, somebody ahead of them, tell them.
Yeah, absolutely.
Tell them what you see. Tell them what you think. Tell them what they're seeing, because they need that. They really need that.
Yeah, absolutely. No, I appreciate you sharing that, and I know exactly how you're feeling about with the compliments and stuff, because while you've been, since April, getting in shape and stuff, since about April, I've been getting back into competition shape and getting my strength back to competing. And one of the things that's kept me going on my darkest days is everybody's like, hey, you're putting your weight back on. Hey, you're putting your mass back on. Hey, we can tell you've put a lot of weight back on. Or you're filling out the shirt better, or just being, like you said, noticing the small changes, like my shirts fit differently now. I'm filling them out again, thank God, because there were some of them that I was starting to, they were starting to swallow me. That orange shirt at the gym that I wear on occasion, my trainer shirt, I'm filling that out again, and I'm feeling tight. The arms are tight again. It's like, okay, thank God, it's finally coming back. But at the same time, how many times have I said, am I really getting bigger? Is this really happening, or is this in my head? Like, yes, the numbers are coming back up. I'm getting stronger, but am I just having a couple good weeks and it's a good wave that's going to wane, or is it an actual thing? And so it's good to have that confirmation, because even with all of my experience and everything I've gone through and everything I know, I still had doubt. I still struggled with that in my head of like, is it actually happening? Or is it all in my head?
So I went from a 2X and a 3X down to a large.
Yeah.
And so I had to change my whole wardrobe.
Yeah.
And I thought, this is where I want to be. Well, guess what? Now I'm having to change my wardrobe again, because now my arms are getting bigger, my chest is getting bigger, and I'm actually up to wearing like an extra large now. My sleeves on my large shirt started getting tight on my arms, and you know what? I like it. I like it. I do. I love it. I mean, not to be, vain and just to be showy or anything else. I like it for myself, because this is what I'm working so hard for.
You're absolutely right. You're absolutely right.
And the more you see, the harder you work.
Yes.
I mean, it's definitely a new walk.
Absolutely, yeah. I was gonna say
Every
it's
day.
a completely
Every
different.
day.
You're living a whole new life, Mike.
I am. I'm old. You know, I got to where I was doing, okay, these are the exercises I have to do. And then this is what I have to do, and this is what I have to do. And then Brandon started giving me hers, you know, when she started doing it for me. And I do all those. And then I throw 3 or 4,
Yeah.
you know, sets of something else in that it's totally different, working the same areas, maybe just a different muscle, or, you know, like today I did pull-ups and stuff, you know, and then I'm having to do my crunches. Well, then I threw a bunch of other leg stuff in there while I'm doing it. I threw in my core, you know, just to throw the extra in, because it's like, I need more.
Yeah.
I need more.
Yeah.
Feed me, Seymour, feed me.
Yeah, and I'm sure when you started, it was more or less just dragging yourself through the workouts and I got to do this, and you did only what was required, and then you know, and then you left and you were just like, man, that was rough. Whereas now you do what we have you do, and then you get curious. You got to come up with a couple other things, you know.
Exactly.
So that's what I've been really proud of you, and watching you the past few times we come down and see is, you know, like, you're having fun with it. You're enjoying yourself. You're getting creative with it.
I am.
You know, like old Tom says, man of 1,000 moves, man of 1,000,000 moves, man of 1,000,000,000 moves. We're getting Brandon and I are the same way with what we're learning and getting trained with at the gym back home. Is, you know, we're learning how to implement speed work into all of our stuff, into plyometrics, and how it all does kind of roll together. How we are also learning kind of the CrossFit side of things, because like, I never thought I would have done this, but something I did to warm up for my squats and deadlifts, the competition, I did jumps. I just squatted down and jumped as high as I could for about 6 times, and then went to my other warm-up stuff, made sure my hips and stuff was my hips and my hamstrings were ready. But then I did a bunch of jumps. That's what we do a lot now. We both do a lot of extra jumps. I want to start implementing sprinting again, just short sprints, something 10 yards, just enough to, you know, hammer my feet to the ground a few times, and then walk it out, because it's just as important to accelerate and then also be able to decelerate. Same with the jumping. You want to do force production, the jump, but then also land correctly, force absorption. You can't create a force that you can't absorb. And that's the concept there. But I want to start implementing all that in, because that'll help me be just a much more well-rounded athlete, and that'll help me keep my athleticism for as long as possible. Not that I'm super worried about it. I'm 29. I know I'm not old, but it's something, if you start taking care of it now. Like, you know, I'm trying to be more self-conscious and more proactive with taking care of my shoulders and my hips and my knees. Like, you know, what's a better time to take care of them now?
I'm telling you, hip flexors and all that.
Yeah.
Make sure you work them when you're young, because when you get old, it takes a long time.
Yeah, exactly. But you get what I'm saying is, you know, which is better to start working on now to prevent stuff in the future, or wait until I start having issues.
Right, definitely better.
That's
and another thing that I've thought, and I've tried to tell these other people, is not to worry about what you're lifting weight-wise.
Yeah.
Don't worry about if some guy's over there and got 70-pound dumbbells in his arms and he's doing hammer curls, you know. Grab them 15-pounders.
Yeah, grab the 15-pounders. Have some really good form.
And have good form, and, you know, throw them extra reps in there. And you'll start to feel that burn. You start to get to where you go all the way, but you don't want to hurt yourself.
Yeah,
especially if you're older, you really don't want to start tearing stuff out.
Or another thing we can do, not to pick on you, but it is effective, just start doing the reps a little slower. Yeah, that helps out a lot as well. We tried to do that today, and boy, it about crippled me as well. We had a good time today.
Yeah, slower reps, and just more of them with lighter weights, I think will.
Yeah, but I like how you said that. We all have our own journey. Don't worry about the person next to you.
That's right.
Don't stress over that. That's something I have personally struggled with all of my life. Probably just being super competitive and a boy, but you know.
Oh yeah.
I
get that way. I got that way on this journey here. You know, I started off doing 15-pound dumbbells. I would do, you know, skull crushers. I would do curls with just 15 pounds, and that's where I really started to see the change. That's what made me. I got to get to the Y, and I went to the Y and got my membership, and I see a lot of these bigger guys in there, and they're doing the same thing. You know, they're not pushing those big heavy weights.
No.
If you want to get to that, that's wonderful. But if you just want to get your body in shape and get things going, start off slow and work your way up to it. And you know, yeah, I can take 75-pound dumbbells and do presses with them, but I'd rather use a lighter weight and get more reps out. I just think it's easier on an older person's body.
Yeah.
It's easier on them. You still can take you to your limits and get to the limits you want to get to without.
Yeah, absolutely. That has been my favorite thing, doing personal training and fitness and stuff most of my life at this point, is just watching and learning, you know, because especially society today, like even being almost 30, some people are going to be like, oh, you're old, you know, so you being 56,
Oh, yeah.
oh, you're old. And then we go even higher on the numbers, and some people think, oh, you're ancient and dust pretty much. And it's like, dude, I've watched, you know, at the gym, we've got a 90-year-old that does the functional strength and conditioning, and the man can go over there and wall sit, and then we can go forget about him and return several hours later, and he's still wall sitting. I'm one of my clients back home at the gym. I've got an 82-year-old I'm teaching how to deadlift, or reteaching how to deadlift. You know, we're teaching people. I know you do this too, Branda, but one of the first things I do, doesn't matter what the age is, I put them on a box squat. I make them start doing box squats just right off the bat.
Right.
You know, I make them start doing the things that they're probably uncomfortable with, you know, but I figure out a way to get them comfortable enough to try it. And we start with those big movements, and it helps them build confidence, because they never would have guessed that they could have done those hard movements like that.
Right.
And then it helps build confidence moving forward, because then I tell them, like, hey, this is what I'm having you do isn't easy. And I think it helps just being honest with them too. I just tell them, yeah, what I have you do is not easy. I'm making you do hard things.
Right.
But you will be shocked at how you'll be able to progress and how much you've still got left in the tank. Because, you know, we see stuff all the time. My favorite thing I like seeing on social media is, like, we'll see like 82-year-old grandmas compete in powerlifting meets, or, you know, there's some old guy that looks like Santa Claus that he deadlifted like 700 at 70 years old. You know, like, these things can still be done. It's just that society and other people and the enemy and the dark thoughts have put it.
They can't be.
Yeah, it's put us in a cage, put us in a box that says we can't, and that's pretty much what our entire. And you're going to be learning being a trainer
yes.
yourself and
Yes.
coach, that it's all about getting people out of their boxes and showing them what they're truly capable of.
Exactly.
Doing things that they never thought that they could possibly do. That is one of my favorite things that I have been told in the past 10 years of coaching and personal training is, I'm doing things that I never thought possible. I never thought I could have done this. If you said in this amount of time I'd be doing X, Y, Z, I would have laughed at you. And it's like, well,
Right.
believe it, because we're doing it.
Right. So yeah, I've had a walk that has went from some very dark places to
Yeah.
where it's at now.
Absolutely.
And I get to see a lot of people. We've got the mountain moving ministry here, and man, there's a lot of young men coming in there and working out now too that are starting to learn the word, and you know, some of these guys are in really good shape.
Oh, absolutely,
you
yeah.
know? And I watch some of them guys, but they're feeding each other. They're feeding each other at the same time they're there. And
Yes.
That's you know, if they weren't in there feeding each other the word and then that extra drive to push that extra little bit out, you know,
Yeah.
Where would they be?
Exactly.
Where would they be?
Exactly. That's why we're all big on community, even with online coaching, and we try to keep everybody able to communicate with each other and keep it open, and try to look at it as more of a community and teammate thing, because iron sharpens iron. We're all able to feed off each other and work off each other. And you get out what you put into it, because like I know that I get more out of it than I realized, really just being involved and helping people and trying to feed, you know, actually actively trying to give, but then feed off of what's coming out of it as well, if that makes sense. So
It's hard to see. It's hard to see is, you know, I've been there. I've been out on that other side for all these years, you know, and to see, oh yeah, whatever, you know, yeah, you can say that, but I'm telling you, that's why I'm doing this. I'm here to testify that this is a working thing. I mean, this is, you know, we've been told our whole life. I mean, when we were kids, when I was a kid, all the way back when I was, we had to climb a rope in the gym, you know, and we had to do leg lifts and bicycle rides upside down and all this different stuff. And then, you know, and then after you get away from it, you get away from it. And we need to all make sure we stay there, because that's what we were made to do. We weren't made to just sit around and do nothing. We weren't made to just, you know, we were made to get out, even if it started out going for a walk. I mean, if you can't get out and go to the gym yet, get out and go for a walk.
I've said that several times. You know, I'll shoot something for social media.
It's cold outside. Go to Walmart.
Yeah, I've done that several times.
Leave your checkbook in the car and go to Walmart and walk around.
Yeah.
Visit with some people, you know, talk to different people. I go to the workout twice a day, and sometimes I don't even feel like going the same time. But you know what? I haven't seen those people. I'm missing somebody that hasn't been there for 4 or 5 days, and I'm going to the Y to work out to have that relationship with that person to make sure that and hold them accountable, even though they're not a client, they're not anything else. They're a friend that needs to be held accountable. And when I don't see them, I find out how to get a hold of them.
Yeah.
I Facebook message them, I text them, I whatever to get them back in there because they're part of my family now.
Amen.
And,
Spoken like a true trainer.
It's crazy. I mean, it's just absolutely crazy. So you got a morning family, and you got an evening family, and then there's that afternoon family that's very small, but we're tight knit.
Oh, that is funny. No, we know exactly what you're talking about.
So yeah, I mean, you start to get that family, and it's like, I haven't seen such and such, and and they may have had something major, and now you could be there for them for that as well.
Absolutely.
You got to be there to get a hold of them, hold them accountable. They may have fell off because they had a long weekend and they ate a whole bunch, and now they feel terrible, and they don't feel like going to work out because their body's full of all kinds of stuff that keeps them from wanting to work out. And then 2 days go by, and 3 days go by, and 4 days go by, and then you run into them or you call them, and it's like, hey, where you been? We've been missing you. You were looking so good at doing this and that, and you were, and it's amazing. I had that happen to a lady last week. I seen her on Saturday in there, just in the Y. She was at Santa's workshop. Hadn't seen her in 2 weeks. And I asked her, what's going on? You were making such good improvements, and you were walking better, and everything. Yeah. She goes, yeah, but my trainer hasn't been here for a couple weeks.
Okay.
And so I don't have anybody holding me accountable. I don't have anybody pushing me. I don't have anybody. I said, well, I'm going to hold you accountable. I'm there, and I will make sure I'm working out at 10 o'clock on Monday, and I will be there working out. And guess who was working out on Monday morning? That I pulled her right back in.
There you go. And that's all it takes sometimes. We experience that at the gym as well back home, is just when somebody walks in the door. Something that I found super effective, especially with the older crowd, is just walk up, give them a handshake, make eye contact, and then they're your best friend for life, and they'll tell me pretty much anything. And so I'm about the same as you. It's like, hey, haven't seen you in a while. What's up? Oh, well, had a couple doctor's appointments, or had to go travel to see family. Okay, great. Or another thing is they'll tell me if they're taking a trip, they'll tell me when they're leaving and when they come back.
Exactly.
And then they're like, oh, cool.
I've had a couple of them this week on Christmas.
Yeah, so I've had several of them that I'm just like, I know so-and-so's coming back, or, I get asked about so-and-so, and I'm like, I know exactly where they're at. They're off doing, I can't remember where they went, but they told me when they'd come back, so that's what matters. Yeah,
exactly.
So, yeah, that's the beauty of coaching and training.
If we don't take the time to ask, though, and talk to those people, we won't know them. You could go to church every single Sunday, and if you don't talk to anybody, you don't know anybody in your church.
Amen.
You can't stand up for somebody when somebody is running that fellow Christian down. You can't stand up for them.
Yeah.
How do you stand up for them if you don't know anything about them?
Exactly.
So even at church, take that same thing in there. Go talk to somebody, ask them. Hey, before you know it, you be like me. I have 10 people from my church right now coming into the YMCA because they saw me working out every day. They seen the changes that I made every Sunday, and every Wednesday they were seeing me change.
Hallelujah.
And now I've got 10 people just from my church alone that are coming into the Y and working out. I had 2 more show up today, but they were close. They couldn't get signed up, so that'll be 12 people just from my church seeing, not me pushing them, not me asking them to come to work out, not me telling them that they needed to work out.
Just bringing a crowd with you.
Just showing, just them seeing what me and seeing
if you
what
lead,
I've done.
people will follow.
That's exactly right.
I just want to take time to remind everybody that this is a man who 4 months ago was not like this. And it was just 4 months, 120 days, or 8 months, or whatever time, less than a year.
Yeah.
Well, it was about July when we started.
So right at 6 months.
Yeah, so right at 6 months for us, and then you said April, so even if it's 8 months, but yeah, in that quick amount of time, we've gone from being terrified to even setting foot in the gym and being there to now you are a beacon, you are a light, you're talking to people, you're inspiring them, you're getting people to show up to the gym just from you working out, just from them seeing the progress you've made. And I think that is phenomenal, dude. That's awesome. I think that's probably the biggest takeaway from this whole thing, is just like, first of all, it was just a few short months that you went from being terrified, which everybody is, we get it, we've all been there.
Yeah.
And you've gone from, in that short period of time, from being there to now you're coaching, to now you're saying hi to everybody. And at the end of the day, that is what training is. We are shepherds taking care of the sheep.
Right.
That's almost the way I look at it.
Right.
So.
And it's like these other, people out there listening and watching, they may have no intentions of being a trainer. I didn't.
Yeah.
I've never, I hated school so much. I did not want to be in school.
Yeah.
I hated teachers. I hated everything about it. I had a deal I went through 2 weeks before I graduated high school. I quit school.
Oh. Okay.
I moved to Missouri. I
Yeah.
mean, I was homeless actually in the state of Missouri, and took my GED in 2010 to go into law enforcement. Passed it with flying colors.
Yeah.
And there's no way that I would ever do any kind of teaching anybody, and now here I am.
Yeah.
Teaching people, and actually looking at doing my stuff. I've got 30 class hours. I'm actually looking at still being a substitute school teacher.
There we go.
And things that there's no way, because those are things I hated.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
But you know what? Those are things I hated because they were uncomfortable.
Yeah.
I hated lifting weights because they were uncomfortable.
Yeah.
I hated being in school because it was uncomfortable. And was I the best student? No. Was I the greatest? No. But I was there, and I did my thing, and until I had enough, you know. And that's the same way with this. I did what little I had to in school to stay in shape, and now, man, I wish the weather would get nice so I could go for a 10 or 15 mile bike ride.
There you go. Dude, I get you. That is awesome that we made that change. And I get you. I agree with the school thing. I think a lot of it is we don't like we like to learn, we just don't like being taught.
Right.
Sometimes.
Right. And people have different ways of teaching.
Oh, for sure.
So you're going to have your favorite teacher that everybody else hated.
Oh yeah.
And it's the same way when it comes to this training. You're going to do exercises that you like. You're going to do exercises that you don't like.
Yeah.
You're going to look at yourself in the mirror, which I highly suggest.
Yes.
100%. If your gym or whatever has mirrors in it, look at yourself. And if it looks like you are doing something so stupid and it looks so out of whack, you're doing it right.
There you go. Yeah.
You're doing it right. If it looks normal and you think you look cool doing it, you better go back and read or something.
Double check.
Do it,
yeah.
Because you're doing it wrong. I mean,
like
everything I do is, it's like, this just looks so stupid.
Yeah.
And but the benefits you get from it.
Absolutely.
The people in my class the other day, I said, "What's your favorite exercise that you guys do?" And the one that hurts the least and doesn't bother you, and this and that. And they told me several of them. I said, "Those we're not doing anymore."
Oh man.
I did. I just told them those are ones we are not doing anymore. We're going to do the ones that make you uncomfortable. We're going to do the ones that make you sore, and the ones that you're going to get benefit from.
Exactly.
The ones that you like the Snickers bar and the sweet tea and all those things, you get rid of them. So the exercise that you like wall push-ups and some easy ones that you're not getting as much from, but you've been doing them for a while, so now you're ready to graduate. Those are the ones that we're getting rid of.
Okay. Yeah. Okay, I get the approach now. Yeah, I get it. So cutting out all the bad stuff.
Yeah, cut out all the bad stuff. The stuff that you really like, that's not doing you any good.
Yeah.
I'm sure you really like a candy bar.
Oh yeah.
And you really like a soda pop, or
Absolutely.
you really like the baked potato with sour cream and butter and all the good stuff.
But are you getting the most out of this?
But are you getting the most out of that?
Absolutely.
No, you're not. You push that to the side and get you something else that's better for you, but still going to give you the same benefit.
Absolutely. Man, that is awesome. No, I agree with all that. You got to find the best exercise is the one you'll do. And it's good to start off with those easy ones that will get you in the door, but then eventually you've got to go do the effective ones.
Right.
And I think, I agree. I in my head, I was realizing my approach to things is a little different. Instead of saying hey, what are your favorite exercises? We're not doing those anymore. I usually just say I'm trying to help you. I'm putting together a thing that, yes, it's going to suck, but this is also going to get you the most bang for your buck.
Right.
You're gonna get the most out of this if we do it this way.
Right.
You're gonna get the most out of it if we do it that way. I'm gonna modify it, make sure it's safe, make sure you don't hurt yourself, and that you're able to do it and do it correctly.
And if you can't do the correct form, and you cannot do that because of a disability, we're going to find a different one to do
Exactly. That is that is another thing. If you can remember this saying, I love it. Modify, don't miss. There's so many people, so much that oh, well, I can't squat anymore because I hurt my knee, or oh, I can't squat anymore because the machine's not available today, or whatever. And it's like, okay, this is why we modify don't miss. That's
Right.
why I need to call it modify don't miss. I used to call it the substitution and variation with the programming stuff, coaching people, just because like, there are going to be times we can't do everything exactly the way we intend to do them. So sometimes we've got to modify things and change them around so we still get something in. Like I've had to do that before. Like I remembered I had one specific workout. We had a couple of day pass people come in, and I kid you not, everything I needed to do that day, they did it the exact same order, just ahead of me.
Oh, wow.
So I had to do everything backwards to get my workout in. It was very counterproductive. It was not counterproductive. It sucked, and I didn't get the best numbers, but I still got everything in. Still got a good workout. And I don't really think it impeded progress. I think if anything, I don't want to say like it helped. I made the same expected progress. There wasn't any more progress. I just didn't have any less progress.
Right. So, I think the gym pushes you a little more too to doing stuff than being home.
Yes, absolutely.
I have a home gym. I have cable machines. I have the free weights. I have the treadmill and a bike and
Yes.
all that. Just everything.
Yeah. Yeah, you showed us the setup one day. You sent us a video. It's nice.
And I got all this stuff, but when I come to town, it feels like I get another workout. I just get a totally different workout
Yes.
than what I do at home. And if you're going to work out at home, I still suggest going to the gym a couple days.
Yeah, absolutely.
You'll start noticing the difference between a home workout and a gym workout.
Absolutely.
Especially if you get some people that you know and you like to hang out with and
Yep.
work out with, then you start pushing each other a little bit more. You start, seeing what you are capable of. There's so
Absolutely.
many things that. Well, I shared that video with me doing that lift with that.
Yeah, doing the deadlifts.
I've never done that before.
Yeah,
And
trap
it's-
bar deadlift 390 pounds. It was phenomenal. I was like,
That's
he's
the
gonna.
first time I've ever done it.
Yeah, I was like, he's gonna deadlift this one, and then he picked it right up. It was
And,
good. It was smooth. Stood up with it nice, and I counted, and I was like, dude, that's 390 pounds. That ain't bad at all.
So but I was uncomfortable doing it. I
Yeah.
waited till some other people weren't in there when I did it.
I
I've
get that.
never even loaded the bar up before, and then to do it, it's just like nobody's gonna believe this. So I've got the video.
Yeah. Oh, trust me, we're all that way. Part of. I mean, oh my God, that's funny that he says that. Videoing is so funny to me nowadays because there's checking your form. There's social media content for work. There's no one's gonna believe this.
Yeah, exactly.
And then there's the form check and everything else.
It's awkward. I get tickled at the young kids, and they're always standing in the mirror and they're flexing.
Oh yeah.
I'd always give them a hard time just to break that barrier
Break
between
that
me and them.
tension, yeah, break
and
the
I'd
ice.
say, oh, that's what we got to do here. Is that a new exercise? How did you? What muscles does that work?
That's funny.
And but now I'm walking up behind them and I'm doing this, and I'm getting some of this other stuff in, and I see why they're doing it now.
Oh my
They're
gosh.
seeing changes in their body.
Yeah.
And they're looking at them. Even if they
Absolutely.
weigh 110 pounds,
They're seeing a difference.
they're seeing a difference in their body.
And they're just happy about it.
And I'm doing it now. It's like, oh, nobody's in here. I can lift my shirt up and look
Yeah.
at my gut. I can do this. I can do that. And it's but that's
Oh.
part of building you up.
I gotta share this story at the gym. You probably know what I'm gonna talk about here in a second. But one day, I was working. I think I was I may or may not have been training a client at the time, or I just finished with one. But a couple of people, it was a couple older folks that all gotten around, and they were making jokes about, oh, well, at least we don't have guys here flexing in the mirror, the young guys, and and it's like, oh yeah, some of them they'll just go do a set of weights and then go right back to the mirror and pose and flex. And somehow I got roped into it of like, oh, do you do that? And I was like, well, I try to do it in the other room, or I try to, do it kind of more privately so I'm not showing off to everybody. And they're like, oh, really? Do you take pictures with it too? And I was like, the whole time they were trying to mess with me and pick on me, which is fine. But I was like, yeah, I was like, yeah, I do take pictures to kind of keep track of progress. And I was like, and for online work and all this and that, and the third on that. And then I finally ended up showing them the pictures. And they were just blown away. They were like, really? That's you? How did you do that? You don't look that way now. And I'm like, well, okay, understand. I'm in a work shirt. It's a t-shirt. I'm not sweating. I don't have a full pump on. And I took it in the other room. And I even took them in there. I was like, I took it in this exact spot because the lighting is as good. And I finally, like, my eyes and brain are starting to comprehend finally the lighting and angles. So everything I do on social media now looks that much better, and it's just because I know how to utilize it
Right.
and make it look the best. But it was so funny because at first they were just picking on me, didn't take it seriously, and then I showed them the pictures, and they were just like, "Wow!"
Exactly.
It's like, yeah, that's why we do it. It's because we are seeing those changes.
And it helps you.
Oh
I
my
mean,
gosh,
you can
yeah.
look back and say, wow, look at that. Was I really that? I picked up a 70-pound kettlebell. That's what I do around the world with 70-pound kettlebell.
Yeah.
You know, I'm doing
Wild.
20 one direction, 20 the other.
Yeah.
I'm doing squats with them. I'm doing so many things with the kettlebells now. But when I pick up that 70-pound kettlebell and I carry it across the room,
Yeah.
I just think, holy cow. I was carrying this around every day. I can't hardly stand to carry it from over there to over here.
Yeah, I get what you're saying because that
This
was the
is
extra
70
weight.
pounds of weight that I lost off of my body. It's no wonder my ankles feel better and my feet feel better and my body feels better. And I don't have to sit in the recliner all the time, and I'm not.
Yeah.
It's because I've dropped that 70 pounds of
Yeah.
weight that was, I mean,
Oh yeah.
if I came and gave you 70 pounds and said, here, carry this around with you all day, would you want to do it?
I'd probably be up for the challenge, but by the end of the day, I'd be pretty wore out. I wouldn't move
so
much.
Why do so many people still carry that 70 pounds that they don't need to be carrying?
Exactly.
Is it because of low self-esteem? Is it because, you know, they just haven't got out and tried it? I mean, is it because
They don't believe they can do it. They don't know how to do it.
Well, I'm telling you right now, if I can do it, anybody can do it.
Yeah. No, I totally get you.
I mean, and some of the other ladies I've got doing it now, I mean, it's like crazy just what I can see now. They're not seeing the difference, but we see a difference.
Absolutely.
We see a difference in the way they act, the way they walk, the way they talk to other people.
Absolutely.
I mean, when you have low self-esteem about yourself and you think you're out of shape, or you may not think you're out of shape, but go look in that mirror.
Yeah, go look in that
Go
mirror.
look in that mirror and you just look at yourself and say, is that the person I want to be? Or is the
Absolutely.
person I want to be under that person?
Absolutely. I like that.
Yep.
Who do you want to be? Yeah, look in the mirror. Take a good hard look, especially nowadays, not to date this, but it is close to the new year, so really take some time, do some self-reflection, write out some goals, be specific, maybe pick a couple things that you don't think you can do that scare you a little bit.
But not too much.
But not too much. I'm doing that myself. You know, like, just to give an example for everybody, I hit 325 at my powerlifting meet that I recently did within the past couple weeks. Next year, I want to try to knock on the door of 400. You know, am I going to have a 400-pound bench press in a year from now? I mean, I'm going to try, and I hope I'm speaking into existence now in Jesus' name. However, if I stop at 375, 385, 395, it's still better than the 325. It's still phenomenal, you know, especially at my size. You know, I'm going to try to do it at 181, 198 pounds.
And that's next year. What's in 2 years?
Yeah, exactly. That's next year. What's in 2 years? You know, think about that. And same with the year goal. Try to, you know, if it's a business goal, try to cut it out with each quarter and hit a milestone each quarter. So, you know, to give you an example back to the bench press thing, okay, I need to hit 325 again as soon as I can, just because, you know, I've had rest, I haven't trained, I've been recovering, so you know, just getting back to that will be the first goal, and then probably by the, you know, March or April will be, you know, 350, something like that, and then probably 365, 375 somewhere in the next 3 months after that, and that's if everything goes well. I mean, that's kind of what we're hoping for. But that's just the example I want to give to people is like, come up with a goal. Maybe it's something you're unsure about. Maybe it's something that even scares you a little bit. You don't want to go crazy with it, but something that you can try to do. And then, you know, shoot for the moon, and if you miss, you land amongst the stars. Or the other saying I've heard is shoot for the stars, and if you miss, you'll at least land on the moon.
There you go. There you go. I had several goals that, you know, one of them was to be up to 240. I'm 232, so I'm knocking on that door. I think after the first year, I'm going to kind of try to cut a little bit and drop off some of the extra food and try to just get down a little bit, especially going into spring.
No, I get you. Refine it a little bit.
But you know, those goals that I set were, you know, in January. I don't care if I do 50 one time, 50 next. I'm going to do 100 push-ups a day every day in January.
There you
Just
go.
100 push-ups a day. That's my goal there. My goal was to run 5 miles an hour backwards on the treadmill.
And you hit 7.
I'm at 7.
There you go.
I will be up to 8 miles an hour before the end of January.
There you go.
it's just, and those are things that I say, kids, different people. I mean, I've got older people they're like, why do you do that? I said, well, I had a torn meniscus, and I'm not a doctor or anything, but that big tear in my knee and my knee not functioning correctly is functioning so much better now, just from walking backwards.
Yeah.
I started walking backwards at 1 mile an hour.
Yeah, there are amazing benefits.
Walking backwards around in a room, and just such a simple little thing that it's balance. I mean, there's so
balance,
much
coordination. That's what I was about to say. Physical awareness of your body in space. It's not just the knee part. There's so many benefits to walking backwards.
And it's strengthened my legs and my knees up so much more that now at 5.6 miles an hour, I can run circles. I can sidestep. I can run backwards, sidestep, go forward again, sidestep, backwards, sidestep again, and I do that. And I just do it for 3-4 minutes. And I'm getting a major workout because it's working so much more. It's working my brain, it's working my arms, it's working everything I've got to keep me balanced. And those little stupid little goals that I set for myself, that I thought were stupid.
No, but I like that. I was gonna say, I think that's great that even if they seem a little stupid or arbitrary, I think it's good to set those goals sometimes.
Yeah, they're yours. They're not nobody else's goals.
Exactly. Sometimes your goals can serve a greater purpose. Sometimes the goal can serve a purpose of, hey, this is just a target I've painted on the wall and it's something I want to do. I'm trying to think of something I want to do off the wall that.
It's those push-ups I do on plates. I seen old Tom. He would do one hand on the bench and one hand on there, and I thought, you know what? I could push that. I can push that further than what he does.
Yeah.
So I did him the way he did, and he's like, nobody in here will do that. Nobody in here will do that. I say, you just wait, Tom.
Yeah. Oh,
and now I do it off 2 plates, and now I got a guy that was showing me things.
Yeah.
That he's coming over and saying, hey, see if any of you guys are as strong as this guy.
Yeah.
Let's see if you guys can do what this guy does.
Oh yeah.
So he's pushing me more, but he's got me pushing other people.
Yeah.
That, this is a guy that's 71 years old and he jumps up and he does 10, 15 pull-ups. I mean, I'm up to 9. Never done a push-up or a pull-up in my entire life, and I'm up to 9 pull-ups now, and it's like, this guy, he's a role model.
I've always told Tom I want to be just like him when he grows up, and that in the most respectful way possible. You're one crazy old man.
Yeah, he is. He does.
Oh yeah.
He does some other stuff that's crazy, but he's tricking those old muscles.
Absolutely, tricking those old muscles. Always trying to come up with something. I'm actually shocked whenever you tried some of his stuff. I'm shocked he said, oh, no one else will try these, but there is another, because he used to always tell people I was always the one that tried everything. No one else did.
Yeah, it's fun.
Yeah, exactly. It's fun. It's good to challenge yourself, and I think that's the beauty of all this is it kind of helps you unlock that part of your brain that is just a little more okay with struggling, a little bit more okay with being uncomfortable, a little bit more okay with trying and failing and trying again, a little bit more comfortable. You start coming up with, like you said, at first it was just like, oh gosh, I got to get through this workout. Now it's like, now we're coming up with reasons to, be exhausted and be sore. Now we're coming up with different things and challenges. And Mike, I think it's amazing where your head's at now with all this, because, you truly made that transition that everybody wishes they could make, that this truly is something
It's what I wished I could always make.
Yeah.
My whole life. I'm serious. I wished I could make it, but I never set my mind to it.
Yeah, you just got to really set your mind, your heart to it.
Mind to it, and you've got to set your mind to it.
Yeah.
Farmers carries, I was doing 45-pound weights, and I can carry those, and I can carry them up quite a bit. But then I started doing 50-pound dumbbells in each hand. Now I step over all the weight benches.
I saw that.
There you go.
As I'm walking around the workout room, I'm stepping over the bench press. I'm stepping over the incline bench. I'm stepping over the lat pull. I'm stepping over all those benches as I'm carrying my dumbbells in my hand to add something different.
There you go.
Now I'm working my legs the same, and doing a little bit extra and being able to carry something. There's so many things. You could be in an accident. You could be in any kind of thing there is, and you have to try to help somebody or take care of somebody or whatever it may be. Your mom's falling down, or your dad, or your kid, and you have to be able to carry them, and you're not in shape, and you can't do it, and you don't have cell phone service, and you don't have. There's so many other factors, because all these accidents that people have, they all happen when they're not expecting them.
Yep.
And they're going to happen when you don't expect them and when you're not prepared.
Mm-hmm.
So that's just one more part of always being prepared, I think. My dad's 81, going to be 82. He tries to work a normal job every day and do what he used to be able to do. And one of these days, if I have to be there to help get him up or get him somewhere,
Yeah.
I can do that because I have the stamina and the structure to do it.
Absolutely. Yeah, we've both experienced.
If it's have to run half a mile to get to the nearest house,
Yeah.
if you have a wreck and your cell phone's dead, or you don't have a cell phone and you have a wreck and it's a half a mile to the next house, how are you going to get there? Are you in shape enough to get there?
Yeah.
I mean, somebody else's life may depend on your physical ability to do something. Why not be there? I mean, if it's only be in shape enough to walk a half a mile or run a half a mile, hey, that's better than not being able to get out of the vehicle or to help somebody.
Absolutely. And yeah, because you don't want to be the reason somebody didn't make it or something, because you weren't physically able to do what you need to do, whether it's whatever it is. But no, I know exactly what you're talking about, because I'm thinking back to, I had a lady one time while I was still there at the Y that she had a stroke right in the middle of working with her, and that was just terrifying to me. And I ended up jumping over all the equipment and almost taking a door off the hinges trying to get through it to go get her help and call 911. But I thank God.
Buddies just tried to call us right there.
There you go. I like it.
So yeah, and that's how I met. I never knew Tom until I started working out.
I know.
I got Tom hollering at me. So.
Oh yeah, he's a golden guy for sure. One of my closest friends, absolutely, for sure. And we see the next generation with his kid coming in, so
Yes.
it's good stuff.
Yes, and he's doing a very good job with that. I watch his boy document every single thing he does. He lifts the weights, he goes over and writes them down. He does this many reps, he goes over and writes them down. And I commend him for that.
Absolutely, just taking the time to write it down, taking the time to care about this, to dedicate yourself. Because I think that's a lot of people's problem, is they try to dip their toes in, they try to go in, well, I'm going to do a couple exercises, I'm going to eat a couple things, and it's like, no, jump in, both feet, dedicate yourself, do what you got to do, and you can really make something of yourself doing this. But you have to spend at least a little bit of time jumping in with both feet.
Exactly.
I think that's the thing, because I don't know why it makes me think of this other saying, but I hear all the time, like, oh, I'm not trying to be a power lifter or strong man like you or your wife or anything. It's like, no, but what if you trained like that just for a little bit? What if you had that mindset just for a little bit of like, or it doesn't even have to be specifically strength sports. What if you were to try to dedicate, and I'm talking all four areas, the mindset and spirituality, the lifestyle and environment, the training and the nutrition. What if we utilized all that and we tried to surpass your original goal? Because then you'd be working that much harder and you might hit the goal or go way past it.
Exactly.
Because we've done that with people all throughout the years too, of like, oh, I wanted to lose 20 pounds. Well, here we are and they've dropped 35, and it's like, oh, hey, or same thing with you. We got another... we got our buddy Kyle, who's wanting to do personal training and follow in our footsteps. Another person we're passing the torch on to, praise God, which I'm just grateful for that, because being a personal trainer is like being a Christian. You're going to help people, and you're going to reach people that I never will.
Right.
And to me, that just means the world that, hey, I may have helped inspire and pass the torch along.
And it has. It's a lot of those people that are coming to that class, and people that are working out, they're like, we see what you've done, and I'm at that age that they know how old I am, and they see that.
Yeah.
Well, they don't see that stuff when they're my age or older.
Yeah.
In a young kid.
Yeah.
Being their trainer.
Exactly.
They think that young kid, he's a young kid. I can't do that.
Exactly,
anymore.
and that's
but when they see somebody older, and they're like, and I bring my pictures out, and I say, hey, look, this is a picture of me right here, and they're like, no way. I said, yeah, look. Oh no, there's no way. Oh yes, there is.
I was gonna say that is a perspective and an advantage you'll have that it'll take me another 20 or 30 years to get to.
Yeah.
Because we do get that a lot of, we're just kids and we're young, and it's like, yes, but it's good to do it while we're doing it now. And then the thing I will always say too, maybe you ought to keep your pictures around. I was young enough, I don't have a lot of pictures, and then house fires and stuff kind of demolished it for me. But like,
me too.
Exactly. But I'm just saying, like, I at one point struggled with my weight greatly. I mean, one of the things that got me started was I was in 6th grade, and I was at that age where puberty is starting to set in, and every kid's chunky, right? Well, I got called fat every day at school, all throughout my 6th grade school year, and that was something that I had to deal with. I know that you were very uncomfortable with where you were at one point, and you hated what you looked at, what you saw in the mirror. So we've all been there, It just sucked that we had to deal with it as kids, if anything, or deal with it as younger people. Like, I
prayed for it. I mean, as a kid, I literally, I wasn't a big follower of the Lord or anything as a kid, but it's, you know, when you're a kid, you pray for things, you know, and it's like, man, make me be built like Jeff, and make me be built like Ted, and make me be, I want to play football.
Yeah.
But I wasn't ever, that prayer was never answered, you know, and I went through my whole life without, I was the slouchy guy, and I was the overweight guy, or, you know, I was thin at one time, but I was slouchy, and I hung over, you know, and to come in at 55 years old and start seeing this, it's like, why, Lord? Why did you wait till this long? But I'm starting to see why now, because of where I can go, who I can work with, and what I can do. Whereas if I'd have started when I was younger, I may not have pursued it. You know? And now he's taken me to a level, into another realm that I have no idea about. And it's one of those things. These, you know, other people, I'm sure they're the same way. They've wanted to be built a certain way and look a certain way, and not have a butt a certain way, and not have their legs this way, and not have their arms,
100%.
and not have this under their arms, and what have you. So change it.
Yeah, absolutely.
So change it.
Change it. Yeah, I love that. I think that's perfect. Is just, you know, if you don't like something, change it. It's okay. It's okay to not like something. Right. It's okay to I think that's another thing too, is maybe people struggle with, well, if I admit this, then I'm bad, or if I admit this, who cares, dude? Like, things happen in people's lives. Like, I wasn't in the best shape I wanted to be in for the past 5 years, just because I couldn't eat enough, because I was always puking and my gut wouldn't handle it, and it just didn't digest well. But we did everything we could possibly think of to fix it. Here we finally fixed it, and now I'm continuing to progress and change what I know. Huh?
You didn't give up?
No, I didn't. My mind's been everywhere and anywhere in the past few years trying to figure this out, because I think.
And you've been wanting to give up.
Oh.
But you didn't give up.
No, I've been wanting to give up, and then there was a time that I didn't think it was ever going to be possible, and it wouldn't happen, and it just wasn't in the Lord's will. And then I'm just trying to figure out, well, how am I supposed to continue being a coach, even continuing doing what I love to do, and what I believe I've been called and chosen to do. Like, how am I supposed to do this when I'm, like, for lack of a better term, I'm kind of crippled, like, you know, in the sense of I can't push the nutrition like I want to. I can't be who I want to be and train and compete, because I've just realized that helps us be better. That helps me be a better coach. You know, it's more inspiring that I compete. It helps me push to that next level, because, like, it's not necessarily. I'm trying to relate this and make it make sense, I guess, and then thinking about it, how my brain works. It's like you said, if you don't like something, change it. It's not necessarily, I guess I don't like being weak. That's why I'm constantly trying to change it, because I don't necessarily look in the mirror and say, oh, I don't like this physical appearance. But I guess it's beyond just the looks for me, because, like, you know, for example, I guess there are things I don't like about myself. I want to get better hips, and I want to fix these elbows and different things like that. So, yeah.
Yeah,
I'm on the same page.
Wait till you're 56 years old. You'll think you want to do these hips and these elbows and all that.
And get better at. That's why I'm doing them now. So when I get to 56, I can say, my God, thank God I did them, at 29 and took care of a business then. Yeah, absolutely. And try and minimize the mileage. And I think that's another thing, is just trying to maybe we're not meant to understand, but sometimes seeing it, and unfortunately you don't see it until afterwards. I'm the same way with the sickness, as I sat here and said why, and it's like, well, unfortunately it makes for a much better story that I got really sick for 5 years and, you know, lost all my gains, and then all of a sudden, you know, and felt shriveled up like an old man. I mean, literally, that's how I felt. I'm pretty sure that we described me as a pissed off old man a few times. Just just being aggravated over everything. Yeah, irritated and aggravated and kind of depressed over it all. But it makes for a much better story now, and I hate to say it, but it really forced us to go on a journey, finding the right eating plan and the right diet plan that works for us, that we want to do, that helps support our goals. And I think another thing that it's really helped me do is, I didn't sit on my butt and I didn't slouch. I did a lot of crying, don't get me wrong. I did cry about it. I'm just going to be honest. But I didn't sit around and do nothing. The entire 5 years I've been sick, I was studying. I was always researching. I was always learning something. So I think what I mean by that helped is that 5 years where I didn't do the extreme training. I think there was a lot of mileage and injuries that I didn't acquire in those 5 years that may end up helping me in the long run.
Nice.
That's at least the way I'm trying to rationalize it and look at it.
Well, my biggest tip I've gotten from anybody I saw on a video, and it stuck with me, and it said it'll change your whole life, and that tip was chest out. And when I do that, when I put my chest out, it changes my whole body. It changes the way my arms are. It changes the way my mind is. It changes the way my hips are. It changes the way I walk. It changes my walk from my feet being turned out to being straight. Everything, if I can focus on chest out. And it's really changed me. It's been a very big tip that I've seen, and it was just like, chest out. And so that's what I even told that to these ladies the other day. I said, the whole time you're working out today, I want you to keep your chest out. And so they were all holding their chest up and holding their chest out like this. And when they got done working out, they said, man, there's so many different things we got work today. Because I said, because when you were working on your arms, your chest was up here, and you were sticking your chest out, and it was not moving, and you were focusing on your arms.
Yeah.
When you were working on your abs and you were laying there and your chest was stuck out, now your body's working on your abs. And I just seen that little bitty tip, and I don't know if you've ever heard that or seen that, but I'm telling you,
knees out, hips back, chest out.
Yeah, and it's totally, I mean, it's made me sit up straighter most of the time, and my wife notices, when you're around somebody for 20 years and they see you a certain way all the time, and then when they tell you your posture's changing, everything about. But when you sit like this, you're not happy.
Yeah.
You're in a mode that you're down or whatever. But when you're proud and you're feeling good about yourself or your kid or anything, your dog just went and fetched for the same time or whatever, you're like, all right. That's what you want to do. You want to stick your chest out. You want to be proud, and you want to, hey, I got a shield here in front of me, and you ain't coming through it. Don't even try.
Sir, I like it.
But if you're down like this and you're slouched and you got your shield up here, what are you? Hey, let's get that guy first. He's he's easy prey.
Yeah, no,
when
you're
you're standing there like this and you're ready to fight, with that chest out.
Yeah.
It's about you, and hey, bring it on.
Yeah.
I don't care what you got.
I like that. I'm gonna take that with me. I like that. I'm gonna take that with me, apply it, and report back.
Good.
So,
Good.
All right. Yeah. Appreciate you. Thank you. Well, how do we feeling?
I'm feeling good.
You feeling good?
I feel good.
Got any more?
I don't know. There's probably lots more, but I don't care if we do it all again another time.
Right.
We do it again the 1st of April when I've got a full year in. And
Yes.
We'll see where
All right. That sounds good. It's a date, my brother. I like it. Hey, I'm good with this. We're right now we're an hour and 23 minutes.
Cool. Do you want to do just some type of conclusion type of a thing?
Yeah. All right. So let's see. How do we want to finish this up? To finish this up, is there any closing advice? Anything else you can think of right off the top of your head that you'd like to share?
Just don't ever look down upon yourself. Pray about whatever your situation is. Push yourself to some of your limits and keep your chest out.
All righty. Cool. I appreciate that. Well, then I'll finish my end with Mike. I could spend the rest of today telling you how proud I am of you.
Well, thank you.
But neither one of us have that kind of time. And it's just amazing to see and then to also continue to hear about all the great things you've accomplished, all the great things that you're doing. It excites me. Personally, it's one of those deals that, and I don't know how much we'll keep this in as I get real personal here, but, when I left, I always was trying to find somebody to replace me because I've done nothing but hear about how much the wife struggles without me there. And so it's great. I'm just grateful. And to me, I'm sentimental. I always wanted to be the one to train the next replacement, and I feel like with you I have. And
awesome.
So that's a big thing that's a big thing that it just does my heart well. And I sat down and you told me the other day that you're getting offered the job, and so I prayed about it, and I thought, well, if he takes it, it'll be great and it'll be awesome. If not, I understand, I respect it, whatever works. I hope he doesn't have any pressure. He thinks he has pressure from me because I'm just happy to hear he's doing how he's doing. Then I just sat back and I watched you interact with people, man, and you're the main man there. You're walking around, everybody looks to you, everybody talks to you. If anybody has a question or needs help, they come to Mike. And I appreciate that. I appreciate being able to come back and see that, and I know this place is gonna be just fine.
It will be.
It'll be fine. It'll be fine, and then some. You're gonna take good care of everybody here. So I appreciate you.